In today's video, I want to show you guys on how you can make a smart goal tracker. So that way you guys can write down your goals, visualize them, and check them off as you complete them for the month. And it's relatively easy to make in under 10 minutes. And without further ado, let's just jump right in. Okay, so here I am on a new Google Sheets document. Now, the first thing that I want to do on my very first row is you want to categorize your goals. And as an example for mine, I will just put physical, well-being, and fitness. Like I said, the first one, you could just do whatever, whether it's academic, career, financial. Now there's gonna be 5 different columns that I'm gonna create here. The first one being the goal itself, what you're trying to do. I'm setting a current and actually a target at the column next to it in case it is some type of numerical goal. The next one is going to be a done, and then last but not least, it's going to be % done. Okay, now you're gonna go ahead and go to the done category here and just kind of go all the way down, maybe about 20 cells or so, however many goals you think you're gonna have in a month. And then you're just gonna go ahead and hit insert, and you're going to hit insert checkbox. And you don't need this field to be that large, so you can just shrink it down a little bit. Same with % done here, I'm just gonna shrink it down just a little bit. Now what I'm going to do here is I can also just grab column E with the percentage and just format it as a % here. On the top, format as %, and I click that. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of increase the size of this goal a little bit, so that way I can kind of type my goals. So for example, walk 10 miles. You could go ahead and just bold, row 2, because these are just headers, and you can also increase the font size too if you want. So walk 10 miles. Let's just say this month we walked 2.5 out of 10. So obviously, how do we get this % done? Well, there is going to be a formula because you need to account this check as well. In case that you're not entering any numerical value, as soon as you check this, you should be, 100% done. And that formula is actually going to be an if. So if this here is checked, right, is equal to true, then what? Then we're just gonna set it to 1, okay? So what that means is that if we check it, then it's going to set this value equal to 1. And then you add another comma here for if it's not, it's gonna be B here divided by this, okay? So if it's not checked, then just do a division very, very easily. But if it is checked, then you're 100% done, okay? And again, this works for goals that are not numerically, they can't track numerically. So you can just go ahead and drag this all the way down over here, and you see how you have a div of divided by 0, right? You can also do another if command here on this formula. So going back to it, so you want it to be if the target, which is going to be column C row 3, if C3 is greater than 0, then you can divide it, okay? Otherwise, just leave it 0. Basically saying if you don't have a value here, just leave this % done as 0, okay? So there you go. And in order for everything else to take effect, you just go ahead and drag this all the way down. Great, so now we have you're tracking any type of numerical goals or any type of binary goals, like for example, get good sleep. Like you're not being specific, but hey, you got good sleep. You can just check it. You're 100% done with getting good sleep this month. We're gonna go ahead and select 4 rows. So select from 2 all the way to 5, like basically get 4 rows that's underneath the title. And then right click, and then you wanna add 4 rows above. So you're gonna have a done, you're gonna have a remaining, % complete maybe, and then you're gonna have a total goal. So this will actually, I'm gonna unbold this and make it a little bit smaller. And what I can do is I can start tracking how many are actually complete. Well, one way you're gonna do that is you wanna see if this % done is actually going to be 100%. So whether you check it or whether your current meets your target. So we're gonna do a equal to count if. So let's count, what are we counting? We're gonna count, open parentheses, column E, right? A comma 1. Basically anything that matches 1, aka 100%, that is in percentage form. Let's count it and see how much we have. So we have 1 done here, right? If we have another done, it becomes 2. If we have another done, it becomes 3. And then the remaining, what we can do is we can do a equal sign to this total goals, which we will populate later, equal to total goals minus done, right? Basically, however total you have and how many subtracted by how many you completed should leave you with the amount that you haven't completed yet. Hit enter. % complete. For % complete, you can always do equal sign done divided by what? By total goals. So let's do that and hit enter. And we're gonna put this into a percentage. It's gonna fix itself in a second, but for total goals, we're gonna do equal sign here, and we're gonna do a count A symbol. So as long as you have something in a cell that's not blank, it counts it as a goal. And what are we counting? Well, we want to count anywhere from, starting this A7 right here, walk 10 miles, all the way down to the rest of A. So colon A, it gets everything else below it, which is great. And if we close it, it should count to 2 because you have 2 goals here. If you add another goal, for example, and you can see here that the goals went up. And yeah, so get good sleep. Let's just say we check it. Play pickleball 10 times. Let's just say, 4 out of 10. We completed that, so we're 40% done. Now, what I like to do is I like to actually visualize this. So we're gonna go ahead and grab maybe about 4 rows here, or maybe 5, depending how big you want your donut chart to be. Right click and hit insert rows above again. So you can see here that you're creating just empty rows on top of each other. What you wanna do is you wanna insert a chart. So insert, chart. Go ahead and go to chart type here, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a pie and do a donut chart, okay? So go to data range here, and it may not know what data range you're looking for. So go ahead and click this select data range. You can just delete this data range right here. And all you need is just the done and remaining. So just grab these 4 cells here, just hit OK. And you can see here that it kind of just created this nice donut chart, okay? You could go ahead and check use column A as labels because they are. It shouldn't change anything if yours already looks like this. But leave the other 2 unchecked because row 7 is not a header, nor do we want to switch the rows and columns, okay? So you can go ahead and just shrink this, and you basically have a nice little chart here to track your status. So you can see here that done. You can go ahead and change the color for all this to 2, by the way. So you can just click this, double click it, and you can see that you could change this the slice color to maybe done as like a green, and remaining as maybe change the red back maybe to a little darker. And then you could also, again, customize these titles. Also, one thing I don't like about charts is they have a little border. So if you double click it, go to customize and go to style here, you can go ahead and change the border color to none. Grab the first row here and just, this is just for cosmetic purposes, but I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. Again, you could just, resize everything as they seem fit. And then I'm going to go ahead and merge these 5 columns together for row 1 as a title. Merge. I'm going to go ahead and center align it here for the text. I'm going to bold it, and I'm going to increase the sizing here a little bit. And now you could go ahead and format it however you want. So you could color code this. If the font is a little hard to read, you could change the color of the font. So I have something like this. And then you can go ahead and change the, you could just format this again however you would like, right? Easy thing about this is that it's very, very modular, as in you can actually copy and paste everything. So if you can go ahead and drag from column A, from row 1 all the way down here. So I'm doing this. You can go ahead and hit Control C to copy. And I'm gonna give a little spacer here on column F and just paste it on the G. You can see here that everything has copies, right? So you just need to do a little bit of the formatting here in terms of the cell sizing, right? So just the target, current, the done, you can shrink it a little bit, and then % done as well. But then again, you can copy and paste this chart. So I'm gonna do copy, paste, Control C, Control V, putting it back over here. Now, when you copy and paste this chart, it's gonna still refer to this data, okay? To the first data that you copied. So you could just double click it, select data range again, and just delete it and select this data range for the second chart, for the second column, okay? It's still gonna be the same, nothing remains unchanged until you start adding more data, obviously. So we do that, and then if you want this to be, for example, social goals where you make a goal to catch up with friends or catch up with family, spend quality time with somebody, and you can go ahead and change it to whatever color you would like. So for example, social goals is orange. I'm going to color code everything to orange, and then these ones will be like a lighter orange color. Same thing here. And then again, you can just populate the goals however you deem fit for whatever category goals you have. And last but not least, the one thing that I can do as well is now I can insert one row above here. I'm gonna merge everything. So if you have like 3 goals, 3 different categories, whatever, if you anticipate a little bit more, you can just create everything first and then merge cells. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and title this, for example, let's do January 2026 goal tracker, okay? So now that we have this, you can increase the font size, you can increase the size for row number 1, and you could also hit vertical align middle. So that way your text is just aligned in the middle if you make it a little bit wider. And in the case that you actually overachieve your numerical goals, so let's say you walk 10 miles, but you're actually gonna log that you walked 15, way exceeding your target, you can actually change this formula up to be quotation mark, greater than, it has to be in this order, greater than or equal to 1. So that way it counts everything over 100%, which means you technically did reach that goal and you've actually overachieved it, if anything. And of course, once you're done populating and playing around with your goal tracker, you can go ahead and just duplicate the sheet. So you can go ahead and duplicate it. And the initial sheet here, I could just go ahead and rename it as a template. And with the template, obviously, you know what I can do is that I can just delete all these values here on the left. So all the way from goal, current, and target, just remove everything. And that way it starts fresh and ready to go. So just uncheck all these boxes, uncheck everything, and make it a template. And you see where it says January, you can just go ahead and, you know, change it to, you know, whatever month it is. And there you go. You have a very fresh, clean slate that you can go ahead and just right click, duplicate every time to a new month, whether it's February, March, August, whatever it is, and just start fresh. If you found this goal tracker helpful, don't forget to hit the like and hit the subscribe button down below. And I'll see you guys all in the next video.